Hi, and welcome back to this channel. Today, we will be speaking about the colonization of America, which began with the arrival of European explorers in the late 15th century and led to the establishment of colonies that span the continent. In this video, we will explore European expansion, the establishment of colonies, and the reactions of indigenous peoples to these events. If you are ready, let us explore the story of colonization of America. Arrival of Europeans on the continent. The arrival of European explorers in America in the late 15th century marked the beginning of the colonization of the continent. The most famous of these explorers was Christopher Columbus, an Italian navigator who was funded by the Spanish monarchy to find a new trade route to Asia. Columbus set sail from Spain in 1492 with 3 ships, and after 2 months at sea, he landed in the Caribbean. Columbus and other European explorers who followed him believed that the lands they discovered were part of Asia, and they called the native peoples they encountered Indians. However, they soon realized that they had stumbled upon a new world that was completely unknown to them. Other explorers who made their way to America in the following years included Spanish conquistadors, such as Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro, who conquered large empires in Mexico and Peru, respectively. Establishment of colonies. In the 16th and 17th centuries, European powers began establishing colonies in the Americas. These colonies were established for various reasons, including trade, resource extraction, and religious freedom. The Spanish established colonies in Mexico and Peru to extract gold and silver from the mines and to convert the native populations to Christianity. The French established colonies in Canada and Louisiana to establish a fur trade network and to expand their empire. The English established colonies in Virginia and Massachusetts for economic reasons, such as growing tobacco and fishing. The establishment of colonies had a significant impact on the Americas. The European powers brought with them new technologies, such as firearms and agriculture techniques, that allowed them to dominate the indigenous populations. The establishment of colonies also had far-reaching consequences for the European powers themselves. The colonies provided a source of wealth and power for the European powers, allowing them to expand their empires and increase their global influence. The colonies also brought new products and resources back to Europe. For example, the introduction of tobacco and sugar from the American colonies had a profound impact on European consumption habits and led to the growth of new industries. Interaction with indigenous peoples. The interaction between the European settlers and the indigenous populations varied greatly. Some European settlers sought peaceful coexistence with the indigenous populations, while others were more aggressive in their efforts to displace or subjugate them. Initially, some European settlers attempted to coexist peacefully with local people, recognizing their sovereignty and respecting their cultures. However, as more settlers arrived in the Americas and the demand for land and resources grew, conflicts between the colonizers and the indigenous populations became more frequent and violent. The colonizers often viewed the indigenous populations as obstacles to their expansion and development, and many sought to displace them through force. European diseases, such as smallpox and measles, spread rapidly through the local populations, killing millions of people and devastating their societies. Despite these challenges, the interaction between the European settlers and the indigenous populations also had moments of cooperation and cultural exchange. Indigenous peoples shared their knowledge of local plants and animals, and the colonizers introduced new crops and technologies. Wars in Americas. As European powers continued to expand their colonies in the Americas, conflicts between the various colonial powers grew more frequent and intense. One example of this conflict was the French and Indian War, which was fought between France and Great Britain over control of North American territory. The war, which began in the Ohio River Valley, eventually spread to other parts of North America, including Canada and the Great Lakes region. The war ended with Great Britain emerging as the dominant colonial power in North America and France ceding most of its territories to Great Britain. Another example was the American Revolution, which was fought between Great Britain and the 13 British colonies in North America. The colonists sought independence from British rule and established the United States of America as an independent nation. Both of these conflicts had significant political, social, and economic consequences. The French and Indian War solidified Great Britain's position as the dominant colonial power in North America, while also increasing tensions between the British government and the colonists. The American Revolution resulted in the establishment of the United States as an independent nation, with a new system of government and a new vision for the role of the individual in society. Legacy of colonization. One of the most significant legacies of colonization was the rise of European powers and dominance of European states throughout the world during a few centuries. Also significant legacies of the colonization had an exploitation of natural resources by colonizers that had a profound impact on the environment of Americas, leading to deforestation, pollution, and other forms of environmental degradation. The legacy of colonization also includes the forced labor of enslaved Africans. The transatlantic slave trade, which brought millions of Africans to the Americas to work on plantations, had a profound impact on the development of the Americas. Enslaved Africans were subject to brutal conditions and treatment, and the legacy of slavery continues to be felt in our time. Today, many efforts are being made to address the ongoing effects of colonization and promote greater understanding among all peoples that are living in the Americas. For example, some indigenous communities are fighting for greater recognition and autonomy, as well as the protection of their ancestral lands. Efforts are also being made to address the ongoing effects of environmental degradation, including climate change. That's all that I have for now. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting content.